All right, we're back with some more cards. I know I'm late on a bunch of these, but here we go. We're going to jump right into Death Knight. We're starting off with the Bone Chill Stegodon. It is a 6 mana, 6/3 undead beast, 2 frost runes. Its death rattle deal 6 damage to 3 random enemies. I mean, it definitely exists. I could see it being decent. Could be fun with maybe Umbra or something like that, giving it reborn somehow, getting it dead a bunch of times, and then dealing 6 damage a bunch of times with Umbra. Uh, Not a bad card. I mean, I feel like it feels bad to play, like just as is, but I mean, not a bad card to exist. Next up, we got Cryo Sleep. Again, 2 Frost Runes. It is a 4 mana Frost spell. Deal 4 damage and draw a card. Kindred, draw another. Obviously, going for a Frost package here. Drawing 2 cards, dealing 4 damage for 4. It's okay. I feel like there's more efficient ways to draw, but it's not bad all in all. Moving on to another double Frost Rune card, a 1 mana Crypt Map. Discover a Frost Rune card. If you play it this turn, also pick another or one of the others. We've seen these with all the maps. This one just targets Frost Rune cards. I was going to say Frost spells, but it is no all Frost Rune cards, so you can get minions in there. Uh, Frostmourne, even probably. I'm sure you can get weapons. But yeah, could be some decent value. I'm not sure which way this deck is leaning so far. I haven't really looked through these all too much. This is legitimate first impressions. Moving on, we got a 4 mana 4/3 or sorry 4 mana 3/4 undead beast, the Dread Raptor. We got more undead beasts, makes sense with Angoro, but maybe those minion types will be playing a bigger part in Death Knight here coming up. This has Battlecry, draw a Death Rattle minion that costs 3 or less. Kindred, it costs 0, so pretty good tempo. The 3 or less tag does make it so you can't draw that last Death Rattle minion with it, but all in all, I think this is a pretty solid tempo card. You play a ton of undead in Death Knight anyway, so you can Kindred this very easily. I'm not sure how much the Beast tag is going to play into it, but we'll see if there's some more beasts that come out that are good for you. Moving on to the legendary High Cultist uh, Hiran, Hiran, 8 mana, 8/6 Battlecry. Summon 2 Death Rattle minions from your deck. They fight. Could be a good way to trigger that 6/3 that deals 6 or something along those lines. You want these things dead because they have death rattles, but at the same time, it's kind of a lot of tempo loss, essentially. I mean, you get an 8 mana 8/6, which isn't great. So you need those death rattles to either pull off some really crazy stuff, or you need to have like high health, low attack death rattle minions that will survive and remain a board presence. I'm not sure exactly where that's gonna go. Um, Maybe there's some sort of combo type thing that pops up with it, but pulling big minions from your deck can be a good thing. We've seen that in like Demon Hunter, who pulls big stuff out of their deck, but they give it rush. It like immediately interacts with the board, so these fighting each other could be a little bit weird. We'll have to see how it plays out. Next up, we got the reanimated Pterodax, another undead beast, a 5 mana 4/3 this time with rush, lifesteal, and this costs corpses instead of mana. This is just huge tempo, right? I think you're just gonna play this in some sort of aggressive deck. Uh, your little minions are gonna die. This is gonna be free. It's 5 courses. I mean, things just die in the game. Like that's just how it works. So you are going to be playing this for all sorts of extra tempo. Gets the life steal and the rush. It immediately impacts what's going on in the game. So I think this one, all in all, is pretty good. We have the Reluctant Wrangler, a 3 mana 1/1 reborn Death Rattle summon, a 2/2 undead beast with taunt. So more undead beasts. This does not have a tag on it itself, but this is 3 mana 6/6 in stats essentially. And 2 of those bodies have taunt on it. So this is solid. Might be a little expensive, but we'll have to see how well it's utilized. This coming out for 0 though, off of that other Death Rattle guy that with the or the other guy that draws the death rattles and will reduce it to 0. You play this for free essentially when that guy gets played. So that could be pretty solid tempo. This is looking like a pretty swarmy style deck that we're building here. All right, now we're gonna move on to some hunter cards. We got Cower in Fear, a 2 mana spell, deal 3 damage to a minion. The next beast you play this turn costs 2 less. Basically, free 3 damage to a minion because you're just gonna play the beast right behind it for the same mana reduction that this cost. You can't hold this for more than the turn that it's played, unfortunately. Probably a good thing in terms of some balancing aspects too, but um, all in all, just kind of a free tempo kind of card. Not terrible. Here we have the Dino Sitter, a 2 mana 2/3, and at the end of your turn, reduce the cost of a random beast in your hand by 1. This is going to help, just get you some cost reduction on some key beasts. Hopefully, keep your kindred effects going and things like that. Just so this won't activate kindred, unfortunately, but so you can kind of just try and get more things out as quick as possible. Doubt it sticks very long, but it's essentially a 1 mana 2/3, right? At that rate. Here we have the Grazing Stegodon, a 3 mana 0/5. At the end of your turn, gain +1 attack, even while in hand or deck. So this is going to just infinitely stack extra attack. So by the time you could play this on turn 3, that's a 3 mana 3/5. Nothing to write home about, but has potential to be a little bit bigger. And as we'll see with the quest coming up, the odd number on the attack, those turns like you're through, like turn 3, you're gonna be needing that. Before we get into that though, we're gonna look at Neri of the Crater, a 3 mana 2/5. Whenever you play a 1-cost minion, double its stats. Whenever you play a 1-cost spell, cast it twice. This has insane ceilings for what it could do. Any 1-cost spell is going to be going face for double damage. Like the rocks you can get off of that new Murloc, like all sorts of things, even just your arcane shots and things like that. Just dealing double damage is pretty big. I don't know if the doubling the stats on the minions is going to be all that good, because I mean, is this going to stick? Not likely. It maybe, right? Occasionally. So swarming behind this, probably doubling stats of 1-drops, probably isn't going to feel all that good. But we'll see if that, like a more swarm-oriented way to play this comes out. But I think this is all about the spells. We got the odd map for Hunter. Their 1-cost map card. Discover an odd attack beast. If you play it this turn, also pick one of the others. The odd attack again is going to be showing up here in just a minute. But yeah, this is just decent tempo. Can get you the things you're going to need, something to play later as well. So I think all in all, solid. Now we have the Terrorwing Ravager, a 6-mana 7/5 beast with Rush. Kindred costs 2 less, so this is 99% of the time, right? You're going to be playing this as a 4-mana 7/5 with Rush. I mean, it's not the craziest thing in the world, but that 7 attack is going to be crucial. It's going to be a necessary activator for the quest we're going to be seeing here in a minute. Just a good, very, very important card. Next up, Supreme Dinomancy, a 5-mana spell. Give 2/2 to all beasts in hand, deck, and battlefield. So pretty good follow-up if you do end up kind of doing a more swarmy game plan. You just play this. Your minions on board are immediately bigger. You get a little Savager effect, and then everything you play behind it is also going to be bigger. So yeah, this could be for lethal pushes. This could just be to, kind of bridge the gap from more aggro into a mid-range style. So this could kind of get you playing in both aspects of an aggressive deck. Now here we are with the quest. The food chain here. The quest is to play a 1, 3, 5, and 7 attack beast, and your reward is shock. So yes, so that's why that 4-mana 7 attack beast is so crucial. So aside from the 3-mana guy that you wouldn't be able to play until turn 7 because it ramps up each turn, that's going to be by far the best way to activate the 7 attack part. You use the, a couple of different 3 attack beasts, 5 attack beasts, 1 attack beast. Those are going to be much, much easier. Um, but this reward, let me pull that up. So as you can see here, Shock, Jungle Tyrant, 5 mana, 9/9 with Rush. So it's going to immediately do things. If you get really lucky and you tempo that 7/5 out on 4 with the Kindred effects, you trigger this somehow. I mean, I think that's going to be tricky and not consistent. But you get Battlecry, get a random 8, 6, and 4 attack beasts, set their cost to 2. So you load up some relatively large stuff in your hand. You play this on 5, you drop all 3 of those on 6, and you just really have that very, very. You have a very big mid range push, right? Still susceptible to removal and things like that, but this I feel like might just cause enough pressure to win games. Gonna swing on over to the Paladin cards. Here we have the Creature of the Sacred Cave, 4 mana, 2/5. At the end of your turn, recast a random holy spell you cast this turn, targets this if possible. Play this and a Blessing of Kings. Of course, that's like 8 mana play, so that's not going to be all that crazy. But if you can stick this somehow, you play this on coin it out on 3, play a Blessing of Kings on it on 4, and then it's going to play another Blessing of Kings on itself at the end of the turn as well. This gains 8/8 for the price of a single buff, and hopefully it lives from there. It's going to be hard to kill with minion pressure at that point, but if you're just going to keep trying to do that, just kind of really going very tall instead of wide. I mean, even if you can get some like wide board buffs that are holy, I'm not sure, but all the spells off the top of my head, but you could kind of plop this down. Um, get a wide board holy spell buff, and then that'll trigger again at the end of the turn as well. Um, oh no, I think this might be slow, but it's cool. I like it. It'll be fun. I'll try and make it work. But I don't know that it really gets there. Now on to the Paladin quest: Dive the Golakka Depths. So this is repeatable quest. Summon 5 Murlocs. Reward Murlocs you summon gain +1/+1. So you play 5 Murlocs, all of your Murlocs from there on have +1/+1. You play 5 more, and every Murloc from there has +2/+2. So you're going to just keep stacking up Murloc pressure. You're going to need to play a ton of Murlocs, but you'll also, be playing directly into an aggro game plan, right? Playing lots of stuff, and then they're buffing themselves just by existing. So I think this really could get there with enough of a high Murloc density of decent Murlocs. Murlocs to go along with that quest. We got the Hot Spring Glider here, a 3 mana 2/4. Battlecry, your next Murloc costs 2 less. Kindred and gains Divine Shield. You're always going to play this, with Kindred, unless you miss like a turn 2 play, because you're going to play quest, then a 2 mana card or 2 1-drops or whatever it is, whatever Murlocs you play, then you're going to play this, and then you're going to get probably another free Murloc right alongside it immediately that gains Divine Shield. This is going to be incredibly good to swarm with. I mean, you could get 4 to 5 ticks on the quest right here by turn 3. So then, from there you're just buffing. I think draw is going to be a big setback, honestly, for this, because the way this plays out with something like this, I'm pretty sure the way I've described it, you're already going to exhaust your entire hand. But yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna definitely be swarming some Murlocs with Paladin here. Next, we have Ido of the Thresh Fleet. So he's a 4 mana 2/7. While this is alive, you get a 2-cost Holy Spell that gives a minion +2/+2 and Divine Shield. So this is like infinite in your hand, kind of like what like that Death Knight for Rogue, where it just always had a thing in your hand, or actually better yet, I think it's more like that priest card that gave you like visions in your hand, and they were just permanent. Like you could, even if you played it, you just got another one, right? It would just continuously discover spells or cards, whatever that one had done. but even if you played it, it was still in your hand. It never left, right? So that's what these spells are going to be. They're just going to go right on to, or right into your hand. You play one, and it's just still there. You can play another one. Super slow though. Uh, might work with that first card, the guy that'll repeat the holy spells. Could be okay, with that. You play this, give a buff to somebody else, and then give a buff to that other beast and give it divine shield. You have to spread these ones out. Probably because you can't really stack up the divine shield by playing it on just that creature over and over again. But I don't know that this package is really coming together quite yet. But again, something I'll try. We got Ready the Fleet next, 3 mana. Give +1/+2 to a friendly minion and your other minions that share a type with it. This will be great to throw into a Murloc deck, right? You're just gonna buff all your Murlocs, everything on board, just getting +1/+2, helps some survivability, uh, help push a little bit of extra damage. All in all, I think this is just gonna be excellent fall off to your Murloc Swarm. 2 mana, Story of Galvadon. Uh, give a minion 3 random bonus effects, so you can play this, give a minion Rush, Wind Fury, Divine Shield, which is probably the best 3 you could get. Uh, so you're gonna just throw that out there, get the adaptations. Essentially, it's just gonna adapt. Galvadon used to adapt 5 times or however many times. I think it was 5. So yeah, just slow, inconsistent, fun card is how I see this one. And in Paladin, we've got the Submerged map. 1 mana, discover a Murloc. If you play it this turn, also pick one of the others. Yep, gonna throw this right in a Murloc deck, right? Your worst case scenario is, play this on 2. Most of the time, you're gonna find a 1-drop Murloc. You'll just play it, uh, and then you'll get another Murloc. So that's just like excellent reload. You're not too upset to top deck this, I don't think, unless you find other draw options. And once you've burned through your hand, this is going to be excellent. It's going to give you 2 cards. You drew 2 cards, not just that one. So yeah, we'll see, but I think this is going to be must include unless there's a great way to draw a bunch of Murlocs. Next up, we got a holy spell that can go along with that first card. This is the Thresh Rider's Blessing, a 5 mana holy spell. Give a friendly minion +4/+4, and Death Rattle summon a random 4-cost minion. So you play that other guy in 4, you follow it up with this because it lives somehow. Then it gets 8/8, which is the same as Blessing of Kings, but now it summons 2 because it plays it on itself the second time. 2 4-drops behind it. I don't know that it can't summon itself or anything like that. So maybe you get extremely lucky and that thing dies and spawns 2 more, and then you play this on one of them the following turn, and then they each get to get this buff. That's going to be super unlikely, but something that'll be hilarious to see. Uh, Pretty slow though. It's going to be like a tall, not wide style deck again, like with those other few cards. I see the Murlocs coming together. I don't see this yet. Next up, getting it back into the Murlocs, we got the Tyranno Guild. It is a 6 mana 6/3 Murloc beast. The Murlocs are playing dress up as a beast, so they somehow get the tag. This has Rush and Death Rattle summon 3 2/1 Murlocs. Give them each a random bonus effect. This is gonna be super good in that Murloc deck. You swing in with this. It's got +3/+3, so it's a 9/6 attacking. If there's something big enough to kill it, when it swings in, those other ones are going to have +3/+3 as well. So they're going to be 5/4s, and they could get Rush, Divine Shield, Poisonous, Taunt. They're going to get something to make them a little bit better more often than not, a little bit better. But yeah, these are going to be pretty great, I think, as a good way to reload board later on, because you can't just play 1 drops forever. You gotta have to make some bigger swings, and I think this is the card that will definitely do that. Next up, we got the Violet Treasure Guild, 2 mana 1/2. It has Battlecry. Cast a random spell from your deck that costs 2 or less. Targets this if possible. I don't know if this is going to be amazing or not. Oh, sorry. But I'm thinking what you're going to want to do is, play this, pull a Hand of a Doll. This becomes a 3/3 and draws you a card. Something like that's probably one of the best case scenarios. So you're probably not going to want too many 2 cost spells to run alongside this. You're probably going to want just a few. This will, thin out your deck, draw you a card at the same time. So you can just keep getting more Murlocs down as fast as possible. Thinking if there's another draw card, you're not going to want to run something like the Flash of Light, or yeah, Flash of Light, I think is what it's called. Um, Heals and draws, that's going to be wasted on this, but like Hand of a Doll is pretty much the perfect card to hit off of this, as far as I can see. Moving along to Priest, we've got Arceus or Arceus. Arceus, 3 mana, 1/6 beast. Whenever another friendly minion attacks, set its health equal to this minion's health. So you have a couple of minions on board on turn 3. You plop this down. When they attack, they're getting a health boost, so they can take some favorable trades, or something like that. Just be more sticky on board, whatever it is that it's going to be doing. Basically, just gonna give a buff to your attacking minions. I think this is going to be best used in trading scenarios. But if it's something where you're just trying to stick a minion on board so you can keep Smorkin with it or something, I don't know how aggressive this is, but it definitely helps keep an aggressive board alive if that board has already stuck. So you just throw this down and buff up your minions. All in all, seems pretty decent, especially with something like the the fishing deck going on right now with Priest. This could be pretty good. Here we have the Glade Ecologist, a 1 mana 2/1. Death Rattle will get a 1-cost holy spell that gives a minion +2 or -2 health. This I don't believe goes in an aggressive style deck, but as we'll see here coming up with the quest, you're going to want a pretty good way to play some cheap holy spells. You're also going to want some cheap shadow spells, which this does not provide, but the cheap holy spells, this will be a decent one. It'll clean up some small minions, or I mean, worst case scenario, you play it on your own thing and get +2 health, which isn't exciting by any means, but it'll help proc this quest that we're going to see here in a minute. Here we have the Glade Song Siren, 6 mana, 4/7 Naga, with Lifesteal. Costs 1 if you played a Holy and Shadow spell this turn. So you play that, last card we just saw. Get the Holy spell out of it, cast that on an enemy minion for -2, or one of your minions for +2 health. Then you play Shadely Tea, or what else is there for? I don't know all the shadow spells off the top of my head. So yeah, you're just gonna play a couple of cheap things, most likely just plop down a 1 mana 4/7 alongside whatever you're doing. Those spells are gonna help activate your quest and get you a nice little tempo swing here. Now, here is that quest we've been talking about. Reach Equilibrium. This is cast 5 holy spells. Reward is Life's Breath, and then also cast 5 shadow spells. Reward Death's Touch. So you're going to get 2 rewards off of this. Pull those up so we can take a look at them. All right, so first here we got the Celatos, Life's Breath, 5 mana, 4/4 taunt, battle cry. So I'm going to copy of this. Then that's what you get for the light side of the spell, or the holy side of the spell, sorry. For the shadow side, you're going to get a 5 mana, 4/4 Reborn. Death Rattle, deal 5 damage to a random enemy. If you are holding both of these, so once you complete both halves of this quest, they will combine into literally just a combination of the two. It's going to keep the 5 mana, but everything else is going to double essentially. The 4/4s go to an 8/8. They then have Taunt, Reborn. Actually, did they have Taunt before? Oh yeah, this one has Taunt. Okay. So you're going to just combine basically everything on them. They're going to have Taunt, Reborn, and Battle Cry, so I'm going to copy. Death Rattle, deal 5 damage to a random enemy. Super cool. This just is awesome, right? It's really cool. I don't think it's that great. I could definitely see this being very, very good down the line. especially if you can find ways to copy it. Um, so basically, what I'm thinking is you're going to want to do like a res priest with this. If you could find a way to summon a bunch of them, use something like Umbra to just throw out 25 damage randomly. If there's a way to double Umbra's battle cry, that'd be pretty sweet. But yeah, this is going to be fun. I'm definitely going to try and come up with some ways to just, I'd say abuse this, but I think pulling it off is going to be a little bit tough. I would love to see it in action though, just really popping off. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I just don't know how often you're going to get this full setup going and not have just one by removal or one by doing something else. But we'll figure out how it's going to work and get some Celatos cycles rebirths, dying, killing opponents. Next up, we've got Resuscitate. 5 mana shadow spell, resurrect a 1, 2, and 3 cost minion, give them reborn. Pretty decent for a swarm style deck. Good reload if after you've played some cheap minions. Giving them reborn, so they're going to be sticky, so then you can drop the Archelios or however you say it. These, the back halves of these live. And you throw that other guy down and he heals them all back up. They were at 1, now they're at 6, doing whatever they're doing. They'll, if they're trading, they'll lose some of that health, but if not, they're stickier again all of a sudden. So yeah, I think this is pretty solid, pretty good for a swarm style deck. Next up, we have the Story of Amara, 10-mana spell. Set your hero's health to 40. It is old Amara, just a spell now. It doesn't come with an 8/8 taunt, but you get 40 health. It is in this case, being 10 mana, it is a very expensive Reno, but it's a Reno, right? So you hold on for as long as you can. The opponents are whittling you down, and then you just kind of break their back because you've removed so much stuff, right? They've used a lot of resources to get here, and now you have more health than you started with, and they're very sad. That's that's what it was like playing against Amara before. Um, this is super expensive. Uh, will definitely be important, I think, because of imbue. So you'll, hit your hero power and occasionally get this, and it'll be just super nice, right? Because your hero power guarantees you can play this, right? So you have 8 imbue, right? And you just hit your hero power. This costs 2. So for 4 mana, you just set your health to 40, and that's pretty solid, I'd say. I don't think this is gonna be tough to play without discount. Essentially, is what I'm getting at. But it is a nice little callback to the old quest. Mara was. I think it was more fun to complete than it was to play because you had to like summon a bunch of your death rattles as fast as possible. But yeah. So this is gonna be something that swings games randomly, I think. Follow that up with the Twilight Mender, a 3 mana 3/4. It has Death Rattle, get a random Holy and Shadow spell. These are spells for your quest, but they're random, right? So to complete the quest, you're going to want to do probably as many cheap ones as possible. I don't really see you wanting to get some random ones and take that deck super late. Plus, this is a death rattle that the way I see playing Celatos is going to be having that be pretty much the only death rattle because I'm going to want to play it with Umbra personally. But I mean, if you are just playing like a greedier deck anyway, right, and you're not really there to necessarily make it so that quest wins you the game and the quest is just something you're doing, you throw this in, you get a couple of spells. It's good value if you're just trying to grind out your opponents. You're playing imbue. This is just, two free cards that come along with. I didn't have that full screen, sorry. Two free cards that just come along with a body you can use to trade in and try and slow down your opponent, things like that. Not bad. I just don't know that it's good. Next up, another thing I'm definitely going to be trying to make some sort of combo with. This is the Wilted Shadow, a 7 mana 7/7 lifesteal. Whenever you heal an enemy, this attacks it. So, got to be trying to find ways to get as many of these on the board as possible. I don't see an easy way to get a bunch. There is that one card. It's the 3 mana card that resurrects both players' highest cost minion, right? So I'm thinking you want to do something like that, and then uh, flash heal, whatever 1 mana heal 5 or whatever that one does, right? Heals a target for 5. So you point that at the opponent's face. Uh, Ideally, you would want to use a larger heal like that when they are at full health. So then, you summon 2 of these guys, right, for 6 mana. You heal the opponent for 5. They're at full health, right? Then 2 of these smack them in the face, deal 14 damage. So now you need to, point another heal at their face. We've used 7 mana, let's call it. There's other ways to generate really cheap, inefficient, essentially, 2 heals. So like bandages, the 0 cost heal 3, I think. You just point a bunch of those at the opponent's face, and you try and just have these smack them up a bunch. I'm definitely going to be trying that. Feel like it's going to be probably pretty hard to pull off, but it will be so satisfying and hilarious. Uh, all in all, I think this has potential. I just don't know how well you'll be able to get there with the game plan to actually use this to kill an opponent. But again, I mean, you get this off an MPU or something like that, you're not going to be upset to just drop like a cheap 7/7 with lifesteal. It's not going to be like a bad thing to have happen. All right, we're going to finish off today's group of cards here with Warlock. We got the Blood Petal Biome. This is a 1 mana location. Discover a temporary 1 cost minion. So your temporary card's going to be pretty important here for the quest for Warlock. This is some support for it. So turn 1, you're going to want to play the quest. So I'll go over what that does here in a minute. Turn 2, you drop this. You get a temporary one drop in your hand, and you just play that, right? It's good, clean, efficient mana usage, and you'll have another charge of this down the road. Here we have a 4 mana fel spell, the Caustic Fumes. Destroy an enemy minion, Kindred, deal 2 damage to all minions. So this is expensive removal for a single target. But if your opponent has, one big thing and a few little things, and you were able to play a fel spell last turn, this will, be a pretty cheap board clear for something like that. I don't know if it's going to be consistent. I don't know if there's really like a fel spell package that you really want to run right now, but this could be, there could be like a fel spell more control-y warlock at some point. I Warlock's my favorite class. I've seen all sorts of different things, right? So there's Zoolock. There's been, decks that want to go super late and literally draw out the entire deck, right? So this class can do a lot of things. It can heal itself. It can use things like what Black Hole and Twisting Nether, right? Just expensive, just complete board wipes, things like that, as well as put out a bunch of pressure. So I'm hoping to see multiple variants of what you can do with Warlock this expansion, and this will probably be something I try out if we get a way to play it a little bit more greedy and controlly. But we'll have to see if we can find a good win condition that can go with a nice control Warlock before this, I think, sees any real play. Next up, we got the Cursed Catacombs, a 0 mana fel spell. Discover a minion from your deck and make it temporary. So 0 mana, draw a minion. You have to play it though, so you probably don't want too many expensive things if you're running this card. This is a fel spell to go along with that last one we were looking at. But I mean, I think this is tough because you're gonna occasionally, like you can't just rip this on one with, play the quest then play this, unless you have literally all 0 cost minions in your deck, or at least a good density of them, so you so you guarantee basically to hit one. Um, or you're just gonna lose the minion you just discovered, right? So I think this will be like this will find a sweet spot at like lower curve decks, where you know on turn three you're like, ah crap, I only have a 4 drop. This will help bridge the gap, pull something, right? Hopefully a 3 drop for better mana curve, but something to do. It'll help you find something that you've put in your deck on purpose too. So, all in all, I think this is solid, especially for the quests we're gonna see. But this, it's gonna be tricky at times if you just don't have the mana. So you're gonna probably want to make sure this is the first thing you do on any given turn. Next up, we got the Dreadrot Maw, 6 mana, 2/8 taunt. Death Rattle, summon a random Fell Beast. We'll go over what the Fell Beasts are here in a minute. They are also associated with the quest, um, but they're not good enough to really be just a Fell Beast attached to this guy, um, unless I don't even know how you make this work. This is just too slow. I'll show you the Fell Beast. You can make up your mind on that, but I do not think that they are good enough to make this good, right? I think they're good enough with what they're gonna do, but this just doesn't do it. So on to the quest. Escape the Underfell. Play 6 temporary cards. There we go. There's why I was saying those temporary effects are going to be pretty necessary. The reward will be the Underfell Rift. And let me go ahead and pull that up. So here is the Underfell Rift. It is a 5 mana spell. You're going to play this and then open a portal to the Underfell, or a rift to the Underfell, sorry. Throw a card in there, summon 2 random Fell Beasts once per turn. The once per turn is kind of silly if you ask me. I think it's going to I don't know. I think it might need a little kick to get this really going. But your 3 options for those Fell Beasts are the Fell Screamer, 5 mana, 5/3 Rush Lifesteal. Then you have the Fell Raptor, a 5 mana, 4/4 charge elusive. These are all demon beasts, by the way. Then you have the Fell Horn, a 5 mana, 3/5 Taunt Reborn. So all of these are pretty solid to essentially give for free. The tossing your card into it is weird. So I think this is going to be essentially like targeted discarding. I don't know if you're going to like click on it like a location and then try and play a card, or if you just like hold the card over it, like target it like like pretend it was a buff, a buff spell, right? Like in how you point the arrow at a minion. I don't know if you're gonna just point a card at this and that's how that's gonna work. I'm not sure. Not sure the exact interaction on how to, physically make it do the thing, but it's gonna summon 2 of those guys, and I think it's essentially infinite. If you have enough cards to just keep throwing in there, it's only 1 per turn. I just don't. I'm curious as to where you're gonna get the cards to put in there, right? There's got to be something to generate more cards, or this is just going to basically run out of steam, right? So this is infinite value, infinite value. So I don't know. I'm interested in it. It looks fun. I just don't know if it's going to be enough to get there, especially once per turn, man. If you could just throw 3 cards in there every turn, losing 3 cards is pretty punishing, right? So to get the a board full of these minions, which are good minions. You'll get occasionally you'll get the Fell Raptors, and you'll get 2 of them at once and punch the opponent in the face for 8. Or occasionally you'll get 2 Fell Horns when all you're really trying to do is weather an aggro storm. Or you'll get 2 of these guys when they've got 1 big minion that's ready primed to just swing face. It's got 10 health, and you kill it and heal 10, something like that. But yeah, this will be fun. Next up, we have the legendary. It is a demon beast. It is Razidir. Razidir. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it. 4 mana, 7/7. Battlecry, discard a random card from your hand. So just discard effect. Kindred, if you played a demon or a beast on turn 3, if you're playing this on curve, your opponent's hand instead. So you discard one of your cards, or if you end up curving right with Kindred, your opponent's gonna lose a card. All in all, most of the time, you're not gonna hit anything important in your hand or your opponent's. Sometimes you're gonna hit something one of you really wanted, right? So um, getting rid of your own card, I don't. There's no discard synergies going on. No, you know, Fist of Jaraxxus where you're gonna discard that and it's gonna smack your opponent or anything like that. But this is a 4 mana 7/7, right? So you play this in an aggro style deck. You play uh, the imp, the imp that hurts you on one, and then you follow it up with some other demons on turn 2, even on coin. You play this on 3. That's crazy, right? Even if it is discarding from your own hand, you're not really worried if you're playing an aggressive style deck, right? This is 7/7/7 on turn 3 or 4. That's pretty solid. That's gonna be tough to deal with in the early game. Might be enough to just put out enough pressure to win a game. Um, not saying you necessarily win with just this single card, but they really got to do something about this one. So now you're just loading up behind it with a wide board again. But this is a pretty cool card. I like it. Um, Obviously, without any discard synergies, you're going to prefer to discard your opponent's cards. So, beasts or demons are going to probably be pretty heavy in an aggro deck with this in it. So I think that's a pretty easy thing to pull off as well. Uh, but maybe, I mean, even in the future, maybe this sees some Fists of Jaraxxus is coming back in Jaraxxi. Is it Jaraxxi? Coming back into the rotation, and you don't even mind. You half the time you're happier to have gotten rid of your own card than your opponent's. So yeah, something like that could pop up in the future. In general, though, I just like this card regardless. I think it's pretty cool, and I think it is pretty good. All right. So we have the Spelunker, a 2 mana, 2/3 battle cry. Your next temporary card costs 2 less. You're more often than not just going to want to play a temporary card itself on 2. Um, but, you don't have a way to get a temporary on 2 after you play the quest. You play this, and it makes it a lot easier to play the next one. Then you have the 0 mana card that draws you one on turn 3. Even if you hit a 5 cost minion, right, you could just play that, right? You're not that worried about losing a card if you do something along those lines. Yeah, I think this is okay. I don't think it's the best way to do it, but I think it's not a bad fallback option if you don't have the perfect curve of like how to get as many temporary cards out as fast as possible. I think this is something you don't hate if you don't have the exact cards you need to just kind of plop down, because this doesn't expire at the end of turn like that other hunter card did. This permanently will hold that temporary cost reduction until you play something. Here we have the story of Lakari, uh, callback to the old portal full of imps from the old quest. This is a 7 mana. At the end of your turn, discard a card and fill your board with 3/2 imps last 3 turns. So it's like a mini portal or temporary portal. I guess it's actually not a mini portal because you can get 7 imps instead of 6 because the portal used to take up a slot. But yeah, I don't think this is very good. Not really worried about the discard or anything like that. The cost of it is super high, right? That's one. And two, they're 3/2 imps, right? It was one thing when that, especially back in the day when the power level was a little bit lower, and that was just infinite. Those imps were coming no matter what. Didn't end in 3 turns. Uh, you didn't even have to discard any more cards because you had already done that to get the portal. I think this is pretty bad. Will it be hilarious sometimes? Yes. Um, but I don't see it pulling anything off that's useful. Uh, I'll still throw some M's out there at some point for for no reason. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right. Next up, we have the Tunnel Terror. It is a 3 mana 4/3 beast with Death Rattle. Get 2 random temporary 2 cost minions. Throw this down on 3. Opponent kills it, or you trade it in on 4. And you have 2 procs of your quest on turn 4. Perfect, ready to go, right? So one's the quest. 2, you play the location. You throw down a 1 drop. 3, you play this. Um, 4, you plop down the back half of this, right? If they don't kill it, or you can't trade it in, or whatever. Um, you got your what do you call that thing? A location coming back up on that turn. You have another one ready to go. Hopefully, you have your spell lets you draw one. You'll find ways, right? So this is a decent load up of resources for that quest. So I think this is all in all pretty good to curve into. Um, if the opponent doesn't kill it, I mean, it kind of stinks. Or if you can't kill it, you're just kind of sitting back for a half a turn. But at that point, you're hitting them in the face for 4. So that gives you decent tempo one way or the other. You're either gonna get quest uh, progress, or you're gonna have a 4/3 that is just sticking. Um, so all in all, I think this is pretty important, pretty good for that quest. All right, and lastly today we have the Whispering Stone. It is a 5 mana 0/8 taunt. Death Rattle. Get 2 random fell spells. They cost health instead of mana. I mean, Mana Cheat is good. If you knew what spells you were gonna get, that might be okay. If it was said, I mean, I don't even know, right? What would you do? Like, this has Battlecry, discover 2 spells, and then Death Rattle get them. They cost health instead of mana. Even that seems atrocious. Um, this is expensive. It doesn't do anything except give you 2 random spells. Uh, spell spells, but random. I don't know what this does, where this does it, or when it would have wanted to do it. It does not seem to go with anything, right? I mean, a little bit with that kindred fell spell, but yeah, um, it's a 0/8, right? And it's 5 mana, and its effect maybe maybe is helpful, right? They still cost health. They don't just cost 0, right? So even if this takes 8 damage somehow, which it almost never will, it'll just get removed by something or silenced or whatever. Um, you have to take the damage still, right? When you play the spells, I don't see it. This doesn't feel good. It's a terrible note to end on for all these cards, especially because there's so many that look awesome. But this one is. But if you did enjoy this card review, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I got a little bit more in terms of cards to review coming, and I just really want this expansion, man. I always get so excited for new Hearthstone cards. Um, but let's ignore this Whispering Stone. Let's go back a couple cards. We'll go back to you because he's pretty sweet. But yes, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.